He loves it.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm really excited to include you in today's project. Honestly, I'm sure it'll take me more than a day. The day's already halfway through, and I have a lot of decisions I have to make. When I was a child, in the parks, some of the parks had these horse kind of gliders so that you would hold on to part of the bar, your feet would go on the bottom, and you would push forward, and then and you kind of do this motion, and it would make this horse glider really move. It was so much fun. I have a lot of fun memories on them. You don't find them in the parks anymore, though. And I went to a flea market and I found one, and it looks really antique, and I thought, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to get this. And I thought, well, maybe I'll make it look like a merry-go-round horse and I'll stick it in my garden. But then I'm like, no, maybe I should make it really usable so that my grandchildren can get in on the fun that I've had. Well, the more I did research into it, the more I understood why they're not in parks anymore. It's this big hunk of metal flying through the air. What do I want to do with this? I really would like it to be fun. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how I made the decision on the horse. It weighs a good amount. I could see how this, which it doesn't even have the front part on it. This was the pivot point for that bar that came above the head and below its knees for the feet and hands to hold on to it when you're gliding. That would add a lot more weight to this. And then you'd also, if you're going to make it work like it originally did, so that it would be swinging like this, but farther, you would have to have a really big A-frame kind of swing set with a special box at the top, because it has to have at least 3 points that this would connect to it. So it would be bothersome. It would take up a lot of room in the yard or the garden or wherever I want to put it. And I wanted it to be able to move, but I wanted it to not take up as much space and not be as dangerous. So I'll show you how I came up with a plan. Piece of cardboard that's supposed to represent the A-frame of the swing set, and then there's wires. And this kind of shows how it originally was to work. I decided I wanted it to glide, but from underneath. So the structure would be drastically reduced, and the speed and how far it's going to be moving would also be reduced. But I didn't know how to make a glider. Kind of like those gliders you sit down in a chair, or that's kind of the concept that I wanted this to work. So this was my first sample, where this is supposed to represent the glider, and then the horse moves back and forth. And it works, but it really doesn't move very much. It's very restricted. So I made some more examples. And so I could see this moves a lot, almost too much. I'm not sure. I think it'll be okay though. So that's the basic idea that I ended up coming up with. So one of the first things I have to do is decide what kind of metal do I want to use to create the structure. Do I want to use tubing, flat stock, square tubing, angle iron, rod? There's a lot of different types of metals too. There's aluminum, stainless, mild steel. And since the horse is made out of aluminum, I think I'm going to choose aluminum. I'm going to weld to the horse to create part of the structure, along with maybe some little steps for my grandchildren to climb up onto the horse. And then I think I'm going to use some stainless for the frame that's going to be sitting on the ground, because stainless won't rot and it's really strong, and I've got quite a bit of it here. We'll see how it goes.